There is reported uneasiness within a WWE brand. The Dudley Boyz are reuniting for a match, and we've got an update on Dexter Lumis following his WWE return, so stay tuned. Horrible but perhaps unsurprising news to kick things off, as there are reports of uneasiness within WWE's NXT UK brand. This is from The Observer, and it's written there is a lot of uneasiness within the NXT UK crew. The next two sets of TV tapings were cancelled on the 9th of August. The reason given was that BT Sports Studios, where they tape, had to be used for football coverage. But as you can imagine, with the talent, how the reaction is, given that you could tape somewhere else, and shutting down tapings is never a good sign. Nobody really has been told anything. To me, Sam, I feel like the writing's on the wall at this point, isn't it?
Yeah, you'd think that maybe this would be the time of year where, you know, it's quite publicised. Everybody knows when the season's starting again, football-wise. And you'd think that it'd be the type of time where they'd be out on the road, maybe doing some tapings in smaller venues around the country, like touring it. But no, it's just very odd. And it's sad because you never want to see, you know, potentially a place where people can work come under risk.
I agree. I totally agree. I think there's a huge amount of talent within the NXT UK brand, and you're completely right in saying that, come on, they knew this stuff was coming.
Yeah.
The problem is, it's sort of served its purpose. This might sound incredibly pessimistic, but I personally think it's accurate. My opinion, NXT UK has done what it was set out to do, which is destroy largely the UK indie scene.
Yeah.
The UK indie scene isn't as popular as it was when that brand launched. They've taken eyes away from lots and lots of promotions within the UK, and they don't have to worry anymore. World of Sport isn't going to be airing on ITV anymore. That's it. Job done. With Triple H in charge, maybe it will continue, because he was all about the expansion of NXT UK brands into different territories worldwide, and so maybe you'd want to keep that open, but with fewer and fewer people watching.
And on the point of that as well, they obviously wanted to expand into Japan as well, and then that office got closed. There was talks of NXT Europe potentially, which have just never materialized. You know, there's talks of potentially moving south of the border, which have never materialized. And you got to maybe think that the globalization or the global localization idea has been maybe put on the back burner for now. I think that it is more likely for it to survive with Triple H at the helm of the company, as you said, but I have a hard time, you know, thinking that we're football, we messed up, like, you know. Yeah. BT Sports, if you're using their studios and everything, they're surely going to tell you way in advance.
I agree. I do feel sorry for the people there. It's not an expensive thing to run. That's the one thing that might save it, is because the talent aren't paid huge amounts of money, and it's extra content for the network that some people will still be interested in, but it's not an especially highly watched show. We'll keep you updated on that. In more pleasant news, sorry, Sam.
Real quick, part of me thinks as well, if it was to kind of go that way and we were to, you know, God forbid, lose NXT UK, we'd still probably keep the title. I'd imagine.
It's a beautiful belt.
I think that would be going between any of the companies WWE may be close with, in order to keep that kind of WWE element in the country. But because they're close to Progress, they're close to a couple of other companies, I think that maybe we'd see that continue as a title, because they've done it before.
I like the belt. Maybe you could do something with that as in like a secondary NXT brand where it's defended, like AEW doing, where it's defended all over the shop. Yeah. And puts more eyes on the independent scene. Maybe
with that kind of stamp of approval, I guess, or whatever.
We'll see. The Dudley Boyz getting back together, not just for an autograph signing, nothing like that. They're having a match. This is going to be presented by Battleground Championship Wrestling. It's on the 17th of December, an ECW tribute show, and Team 3D will have their first match back together in years. They came back to WWE. They were good value while they were there. I would suggest that they did a good job of elevating other talent. They came in, they did that stuff with a New Day. Massive pop for the Dudley Boyz, a legendary Attitude Era and ECW tag team. Also on hand for that show, you've got Shane Douglas, you got Todd Gordon, you got Sabu, you got the Sandman, and Bill Alfonso. all announced, and Rob Van Dam being inducted into the Hardcore Hall of Fame and will face Rhino.
It's a nice big ECW throwback show. They've done them a lot over the years. I mean, it's been done to death, but
really has.
I'd still probably catch one if I was in the local area just for the sake of going along. But Dudley Boyz, yeah.
I thought Devon was good and proper retired. I thought he was just doing backstage producing stuff. I'm sure he announced his retirement, but hey, if the money's there, good for them. Good for them. And yeah, they've totally bled the ECW stone dry. But you know what?
It'll live on forever as a chant, and as long as it'll live on as a chant, we're going to have, tribute shows.
There you go. Good for them. It's a payday, isn't it? Update on Kota Ibushi now. Kota Ibushi on Twitter talked about wanting to go to AEW recently, of course, teaming with Omega, saying that he wanted to wrestle Adam Page. There's no time frame on his return, but the update here is that the shoulder injury that he's been out of action for 10 months with hasn't healed well. So that would suggest that he's going to be away for a little bit longer.
Yeah, there's some uneasiness that was going on between himself and New Japan as well, which sort of clouded a lot of this situation. And it's been a lot of back and forth, a lot of he said, she said stuff. But it was very serious for Ibushi for a while, both the personal life front and his physical health. So fingers crossed, he can heal up nice and quick, because it must be agony for somebody that's that good at wrestling, that lives and breathes wrestling, to just have to sit there and wait and sit and wait.
It's cool that he's suggesting that he wants to do this stuff, because to me that sort of suggests that, hey, maybe he's going to be back in the not too distant future. I'd love to see him in an AEW ring. I'd love to see him back in the ring, full stop. And we finish on a note about Dexter Lumis, and this is an interesting one, because sometimes they let them carry on with the indie dates, sometimes they don't. Dexter Lumis, of course, returning on Monday Night Raw. He was told to cancel his indie dates. Back on Raw, doing like that arrest sort of angle where he was escorted away. Samuel Shaw, better known as Dexter Lumis, I can't believe he's 38 years old. He looks like a dad and everything. Yeah. He's 38. That's probably why they got rid of him in the first place, because he's who knows how long he's got left. Anyway, in another sign of his new reign on top, Shaw was told that he had to cancel his already booked and advertised independent dates, even if there was no conflict with his WWE schedule. Other companies allow you to finish these commitments as long as it doesn't coincide with a TV taping date.
But WWE usually allow you to fulfill your obligations, don't they?
Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. It's on a seemingly per person basis.
It just makes me wonder why they'd want to limit him particularly. Maybe there's some major featured storyline about to happen.
To be honest, I get that it sucks for the promoters that are putting this stuff on, but I get it, because if he goes and works a match for some little rinky-dink indie or whatever, and I'm not suggesting that's what he was booked for. If he goes and does that and then gets himself injured, their investment has been wasted for a few months, where you've got to wait for him to recover, and he's obviously going into a fairly prominent storyline. I'm buzzing about him being back, because I think he's such a great character. Sure, he's on the older side of things, and they're looking at signing super young talent at the moment, but he's just very enjoyable to watch, and he fits in lots of places on the card. I can say there's a lot of fantasy booking I could do regarding.
So what you are saying is that Triple H watched this promoter open his WrestleMon cards, and he got Dexter Lumis, and he was like, "Oh my God, I've got a shiny Dexter Lumis!" And Triple H just pushed him in the mud, nicked it, and ran away.
That's exactly what happened.
Shameful.
Courtesy of Sam Driver there. So yeah, that's it. That's it for the news today. We've got Sam and Fraser on the news tomorrow. We've got loads of good stuff coming up over the weekend as well. So keep an eye on the channel. As always, take care of yourselves. All the best.
Bye.
There it is.